The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope that you're having a beautiful week, that as we are transitioning from the fall into the winter season here in the States, or we're moving from September into October, that you're finding time to reflect. As we go through transitions in the seasons, a lot of times where we start to look ahead and we look back at the year and what we've done or what we've experienced or what may be going on in our life. And then we start looking ahead as we're stepping towards the last quarter of the year and into the new year. We start looking ahead and reflecting and seeing what it is that we value and have done, and what are some of the things we want to make sure we get done before the end of the year, or things that we're looking at stepping into. And sometimes there's a releasing of things and a stepping into things. And one of the areas I think we forget to talk about or think about, especially during this type of a transitional season, is joy. And I find there are a lot of misunderstandings and myths around joy. And so today we're going to have a really great, deep, candid, and hopefully joyful conversation about joy and how we can make choices around that and bring more joy, not just a buzzy kind of happy, temporary kind of feeling sort of thing that comes and goes and seems a little mythical in how we can make it happen in our life, but really deep, rooted joy. How can we really bring that into our life, and that there's actually a real power in joy, that regardless of what comes in life, through the seasons, through the challenges, through the sorrows, through the loss, there can still be joy in all of it. Sometimes I've heard it called laughter through tears. In those moments, that we can still find some joy in those things, in the highs in life and lows in life. And so I'm really excited to have a joy expert on with me today, the amazing Empress Iris, that together we're going to be sharing from our hearts around joy, because I really want you to be deliberate about how you're interacting with joy in your life. That it's not just this temporary thing. It's not something just once in a while that we have, but as we're reflecting and looking back and also making choices and moving forward, that we're being really deliberate about joy. Because most people I talk to, they're not saying, I have too much joy, I need to get rid of it. A lot of times, they're looking for more joy in their life. And so today, we're going to give you practical and profound ways that you can bring joy, that deeply rooted, grounded, powerful joy into your life. But as we get started, I always like to take a moment to connect powerfully with each other and to clear away any distractions, because this time is for you. I always celebrate and acknowledge that you said yes to you, and we want to serve and pour into you and create a space and time for you to explore and grow and absorb and listen and make choices about, with each breath, how you want to be going forward. With the next breath, you get to make choices every single day. And I hope that's empowering and exciting to you, not feeling like a burden, because when we can make a choice, that's a place of empowerment. We're getting to choose. versus not having choice in our life or having our life run us. And we really want to encourage you to be aware moment by moment of the choices that you're making, and to empower and encourage you to make choices that serve you, that bring more of what you want into your life and less of what you don't want, that you're releasing the other stuff and stepping forward in those things that do. So to create a space and time for that, let's come together and take a breath. Wonderful. For those of you who are driving, please stay alert, eyes open, safe, hands on the wheel. No texting and driving, but those of you who are able to, let that chair support you. Sit back, both feet on the floor. Another breath. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Let's bring all of you in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And my question to you is, in this centered space, as we pause just for a moment together, what is it that you need? What is it that will support you on your journey in life, that today particularly you need just a little bit more of, or a little bit less of, or information, something that's going to support and encourage you on your journey? Just pause for a moment and listen, hear, feel, see what it is that you need. See what's laid upon your heart. And hold that for a moment in your heart and in your mind. And my desire for you today, even beyond our showtime together, that you will have ears to hear, eyes to see, heart to receive what it is that you need to move forward on your journey in life. That your eyes will be alert and waiting and seeing that next piece that will move you forward. Go ahead, one more breath. Beautiful. Go ahead and open up your eyes, and I invite you to actually capture what it is that was laid upon your heart, the picture, the thought, the feeling, whatever it is that you need. We're so good at helping everyone else with all of their needs. We frequently ask, what do you need? How can I help? But we don't often enough stop and ask what we need. And when someone asks us, we don't quite know what to say. So I invite you to build a practice, just like we do on our show each time, and really see what it is you need that day. And when we're aware of what we're on the lookout for, it's a lot easier to see and to recognize that next piece that can support us on your journey. So I encourage you to build that practice in, and you will find it on our show each time as we're really focusing together to honor our time together to serve and support you on your journey. So thank you for taking a moment with us to reflect on that. And I always like to have my guests share what's on their heart, what was laid upon their heart, as we pause together in community, really listening and receiving. And so with that, Empress Iris, do you mind sharing something that was laid upon your heart?
Oh, I'd love to, Rebecca. What came up for me is so interesting. It's that phrase that you hear sometimes that says, stop and smell the roses. And I remember Trevor and I, my husband and I, were walking in our neighborhood, and there were roses, and we just stopped and tried to say, oh, what kind of fragrance is that? Is that more like an iced tea rose fragrance? Is that more of a really sweet, perfumey fragrance? And I remember that if I had walked by quickly, and sometimes I do, I don't even see the roses. So that phrase came really deeply as, slow down and smell the roses.
Beautiful. I love how you're sharing that. I got a great visual as you were sharing that. And I think it's so true that we can frequently just rush by and not even be aware of all of the wonder around us, and not only not see, but then not even have that experience of the smell. Like, we miss so many things in all of our senses because we're just rushing along so quickly, moving so quickly in life. So I love that. Very timely reminder to stop and smell the roses. It's funny, I was reflecting on that when I was in the financial industry, I walked beside a lot of people that were transitioning into retirement. So some, there had been great loss that they'd had in their life of a loved one, and they were making that transition. Others, they were making this transition into retirement, and they had different experiences. Some were like, you know what, I'm always rushing around in my life. I'm going to really stop and smell the roses. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to not push myself to start doing and building all these things right away. They became very convicted of stopping and smelling the roses. And others were saying, oh my goodness, I'm busier than when I was working. I don't know what I did before. My life has become so full and busy. And then others were a little bit at a loss because they were used to that structure in their life. But the consistent thing I saw in all of those transitions was reflection and stopping and really looking at where they started and stopped and what they're looking at bringing into their life in a deliberate way, and just such a richness in that. So I just think that's really timely. And I think critical to choosing joy, that we are deliberate about what we're bringing into our life. And if roses and being able to pause and smell and not just rush by them brings you joy, we get to choose to bring that into our life. And I think it's important because we can rush along. This is what's on my heart. We can rush along and not even know what we like to do anymore. Not even know what gives us joy, what encourages us, what gives us a lift. And we can suddenly be doing something and realize, wow, I like this. I didn't even know that, or I forgot I used to do this. And so what's on my heart is not pausing too, but asking, what is it that brings me joy? What is it that I value in my life? And how can I bring more of that in and less of the other stuff? I think as we go along, I call it the full plate syndrome. We just keep saying yes to stuff. We keep adding things onto our plate. And at a buffet, if any of you have ever been to one, all you can eat kind of thing, or a picnic where you're doing that and you sample everything, your plate gets really full. And eventually something rolls off, and it could be a rolly thing, like an olive that could roll off, or it can be other stuff. And if we lean down to pick it up, more starts falling off your plate. And we do this in our life. We can just keep filling the plate because we're not stopping and asking and really evaluating what's on our plate, and do we really want that there? And are there some things we can take off? Because we can't keep just without adding without ever taking something off our plate. And that's where I think pausing and reflecting and taking a look and making choices to, yes, I value smelling the roses, and I'm going to build that in and create space for that. And I'm going to take off this other thing that perhaps doesn't serve me anymore, that has me rushing by life. So let's really encourage each other to remember to pause and ask and see what we have on our plate and what we want to keep saying yes to. So with that, we're going into our first commercial break. And when we come back, we will start our official interview with the amazing Empress Iris. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that break and you got an opportunity to think about what is on my plate. And are these the things, as I evaluate that I really do want to have on my plate coming forward, stepping forward into the last part of the year and into next year? Are those the things I really want on my plate? And here's the extra credit bonus concept with that is, do you actually have a little open space that you could add a little more in? Because we can fill it full to lots of things that I was sharing this with Empress Iris behind the scenes. I said, I love saying yes. I love to say, yes, I can do that too. Ooh, I want to do that too. Let's add that on. Ooh, that looks good. Yes. I love saying yes to things. But what it took me a long time to understand is when I say yes to that and add it to my plate, I'm actually saying no to other things I may not even know about yet, because the plate is full. I made those commitments. And so it's helped me pause, not just immediately say yes to things, but to really pause and think about that and look at what I'm saying yes to and what that could mean, perhaps, that I'm saying no to. And so I've built the practice of actually keeping a little bit of empty space on my plate. I don't fill it completely now. And every once in a while I do, and something rolls off, and it's just an indicator to go in and take a look again and reevaluate what's on the plate. And I really consciously keep space open on it so that as those opportunities come forward that I don't know about yet, I can really have space to say yes. So just a concept we were talking about behind the scenes that I thought would have value to share with all of you as you're evaluating your plates and looking at what you're saying yes and no to. And one of the things that we hope you're leaning in, and that's why you're listening to this show, is joy, that you would like to say yes to joy and having more joy in your life and the power of that. And so our joy expert today is the amazing Empress Iris Stallworth-Grayling. And I wanted to give you a little bit of her background. You've heard some of her heart as we go into our interview section so that you know a little bit more about her from a more formal perspective. Empress Iris is a joy and empowerment facilitator. She has 39 years of experience supporting women 40 and up to energize their joy and vitality as a path to power. And I've had the privilege and honor of seeing Empress Iris present. I keep calling her Empress now, but Empress Iris present. And I love her energy and her heart and her passion. And I watch audiences respond to her and they start moving. Like, she just creates this energy of movement in their lives, and they respond and they lean in and they start even imitating some of the arm movement. She uses her arms in a lot of what she shares about being sassy and really powerful and stepping into that. And it echoes out throughout the room as people lean in and start mirroring that and bringing it into their lives. So I hope that you can picture that in our conversation today, and you hear the wisdom of what she shares, the heart that she has for this work, and the power that she can really help you bring into your life through joy. So it is my privilege and honor to officially welcome the amazing Empress Iris to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I am so thrilled to be here on your award-winning show, and I get a chance to talk about joy, which just so lights me up, and to share it with all your wonderful, wonderful listeners. And I've had a smile on my face when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, today's the day, so I'm very happy to be here.
Aw. Well, we're excited and glad to have you. And I know that we can hear your enthusiasm and your smile. I love that. I can hear the smile in your voice. I love that. and I know that the work that you do is very meaningful to you and brings you a lot of joy. But I wanted to know if you would mind sharing your deep why the work that you do in this way of empowering women in this way. Why is that personally so important to you?
You know, what I noticed, Rebecca, is that it would break my heart when I would see people that I loved, my clients, people that are close to me, and especially women, giving their power away or having it taken from them. And I have worked with clients professionally for many, many years, starting as a clinical hypnotherapist. Then I had a psychotherapy practice for 25 years. And what I noticed is that the power and their true, magnificent way of being in the world was wonderful, but for some reason, they didn't quite know it. And they didn't know it, so of course they didn't express it. They didn't tap into the power that they already had. And so I just got really lit up about focusing on women, and especially women over 40, and especially women who serve from the heart. And that has been it's been a true joy for me to be able to see women step forward in this way. And I really feel that the 40s are the time for us to really come into our own.
I love it. I am leaning in and saying yes. Beautiful. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. There are so many women that I do know and interact with and get to experience, and a lot of those that have such a deep, rich heart to serve and touch others in that way, that are really missing how amazing they are, what a gift they are. And I think it limits the reach that we can have. It limits the power in which we can serve others and have the impact when we don't, for whatever reason, a misunderstanding frequently, or just not seeing, when we don't fully see the wonder of who we are and the power that we have, and bring our uniqueness forward, that it's really a gift. And the world misses out on a richness of all of our textures when we hold back, or we shrink back from some of our power and gifts. So I think the work that you do, not that I think I know, I think and know the work that you do is so needed and so powerful. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. It's wonderful that people benefit, but the reality is it lights me up. So I love that everyone really is touched in a real positive way, because joy is such a good feeling and a powerful feeling.
Yes.
And I can go into that more deeply if you'd like me to, because I think there might be, I know sometimes when you first think of joy, you might think of celebratory joy, like the joy that you feel when you're having a good time and you're at a party and you're having a lot of fun, which is wonderful. And there are also the aspects of joy where we feel peace, that sense of feeling guided and connected to spirit, or more deeply connected to ourselves. And love and joy, I think, come together. And then there's laughter, which is also a wonderful part of joy. That does a lot of positive things to us, physically, emotionally, and psychologically.
I love this because what I'm hearing as you're sharing is there are a lot of different dimensions to joy. And I think that some of the myths out there are that we have associated joy with just one dimension, that, like you were saying, that celebratory joy. We're not always seeing the peacefulness and the grounded joy regardless of circumstances. So I think this is one of those myths that we can bust today, that joy has a lot of different sides to it, and like a gem that has a lot of different sides that shine in different lights and different circumstances, that joy can really be that in your life. So thank you for sharing a couple of those dimensions with us today, because it's important for us to start to look at joy from many perspectives, not just one, perhaps that we have previously looked at it before. And before we go too much deeper into this, because some people may be wondering this in their head, and then they can get a little distracted and not hear all the content that we have. Do you mind explaining why you have this title, Empress?
Well, it just came to me in one of my meditations, and at first I thought, oh no, it seems like I'm feeling that I am, like a hierarchy. And then it really became clear that it represents and reminds me to own my sovereignty, my ability to have power over my life. And it's also truly an invitation for women, men to really own their authority and to really fully claim their sovereignty over their own lives. And it's to me shared. It's something that when we all do that, again, what we were talking about earlier, when we all do that, we all are lifted up together. And so that's why I use and claim that title of Empress. And people can choose their own title.
Exactly.
Right for them.
Part of that sovereignty.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Good. No, I love that. And I had the privilege of being on that journey with you. And I remember you saying, can I really say that? Is that kind of a little ostentatious? And then the more you're like, yes, I can. And I can claim that. And I claim it for myself. And I claim it for others. And because you giggled a little when you first said it. And then you're like, I am. And you really stood in that. And I see it echoed throughout your communities. I see it echo throughout the world as others find their name for it and really step into that power, because it's not that if I stand in that power, somebody else can't. It encourages everybody to do it and to bring an awareness that maybe we didn't have in our life, that we actually can be in the center, that it is our life, and that I have this sovereign power over my life to say yes or no to things and actually figure out what I need and want to support me and bring it in. So I think it's a wonderful reminder and moment for reflection, and timed perfectly because we're going into our next commercial break. So I encourage you to sit with this concept a little bit. And if you were to name yourself, would it be Empress, Emperor? What would it be? Play with that a little bit and just stretch yourself a little bit and see how that feels to try on. And if you were in a sovereign position in your life, what would you start leaning into? We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you got a moment to try on sovereignty a bit and see how it felt. And behind the scenes, I was talking with Empress Iris today, and I wanted to have her share with us a little bit more about the connection. What is this connection between joy and power?
Joy is a wonderful quality that, and you know, there's a phrase that I say is joy is a path to power. And how I think of that is there are twin qualities, and that is joy and love. They're very powerful energies, but when you think of them as two energies dancing together, and they become much more powerful and enlivening, because when you are in your joy, it opens your heart. And when your heart is open, you attract more joy. And so they work beautifully together. And when we have an open heart, we're more motivated to do what we need to do. Our connections to ourselves, which is very important, it just really opens up that gate to connect more deeply with ourselves, to connect with other people, to connect with spirit. And also, when you're in your joy, you're energized. You have more vitality, and that also is an attractive energy. If you're an entrepreneur, it attracts more clients to you. It attracts you to your wonderful vision. And I think there's something that's magical about joy, because when you imagine your wonderful vision of how you want to make a difference, the joy actually activates and puts more of a commitment, more of that juice into your dreams. So joy is very empowering, and the key is you're not doing joy to get power. You're doing joy, and power is just a part. It's just the benefit that arises from it.
I think that's a beautiful explanation, because what I'm hearing as you're sharing is when we're in our joy, that authentic joy, it opens our heart, opens up all these channels of connection. And so we become more empowered. I was just thinking about when we have a lot of weight, burdens or responsibilities or things that are, we have to do this, we have to take care of that, we have these responsibilities, we have all these things kind of weighing and pulling on us, and then we can have thoughts that perhaps aren't positive and moving us in a direction. It clogs everything up, and these channels can get harder for energy and thoughts to squeeze through. And I love that tapping into this joy, it sounds like kind of cleans all those channels, opens everything up to receive and be in that center and be in that place where we can make choices from that place versus all those other things pulling at us and driving us. So I think it's a really beautiful picture that you were sharing with us. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And I wanted to also bring another side to this coin, because we may not always feel on a feeling level joyful. There are a lot of challenges. If you've been listening to our show the last couple weeks, we've been very candid about some challenges or things that have not always been happy, or sorrow or loss that we've been working through at different times. And so we can lose our balance in different areas when those things happen, or we can find an even stronger balance in them. And what I'd love for you to share with us, if you're open to this, Empress Iris, is that when there is a challenge in life, and I know you have a personal, not that you just won, you've had lots of challenges, but there was one you had on your heart to share with us today. How do you find joy in those moments, and what happens when we lose it for a moment, and then how do we find it again? Do you mind talking about that?
Oh, I'd love to talk about this, Rebecca, and I hope it's okay. It's personal and it's vulnerable, and I would love to share it.
Please, we would be honored. Absolutely.
Well, it's about my mom, and my mom and I have had a multi-layered, a bit of a rocky road, and my mom is going to be 89, actually, in a couple of weeks. And I was feeling, I needed to find a nursing home for my mom. She could no longer stay in the house with the caregivers. She needed more care. And I found this great place. I was feeling so happy and exhilarated. It was great care, quality place. And my mom said she wanted to go, and then she said, I don't want to go here. I don't want to stay here. And I got into such a down place. I totally lost my joy. I thought, this is the best place for Mom. Why don't you want to be here? And I remember the very moment when I was letting myself get more and more burdened. I felt down, depressed, burdened, resentful. And I thought, I think I should do what I suggest my clients do. I should do that too. And so what I suggest is, when you're feeling that way, just slow down, like you're suggesting, the power of the pause, and ask, what will help me choose joy now? And I mean either giving me peace, or give me laughter, or give me love. And I shifted. I thought, okay, compassion. What is it like to leave your home permanently? She's lived there for 40 years with her partner. What was that feel like for her? And instead of feeling it's about my story, I shifted into that, and I had the facet of joy, which is peace. I let go. I let go of my agenda. I think it's the best place. I just let go. And I thought, okay, I'll just have to let Spirit guide, and it'll work out. And I let go. And at that moment, as much grief and challenge as it was, I chose the joy of peace. Oh, it changed everything. And amazingly enough, nothing changed. The situation didn't change. My mom happened to change, and now she's a little bumpy road, but she's more in acceptance.
Beautiful. Well, I just want to thank you for sharing. And it is a vulnerable place, especially when you're a leader and you're the leader around joy. It's vulnerable to share those moments when perhaps we're not feeling as joyful. But I also think there's such a gift in sharing that, because I think sometimes people have this perspective that we're all perfect in whatever it is that we teach or lead or bring forward. And it's important to remember we're all people, and we're human in the journey. And part of the reason we can be so gifted in what we do is because we have experience going through, and we're able to bring that forward in a lot of different facets and perspectives. So I appreciate you sharing that moment with us of where you were like, oh, I know what to do. I teach this.
Yes.
But we can get caught up in life. And so I love how you're like, I'm going to pause. And those pauses are so powerful because it helps us not just be in reactionary mode, but choose and reflect and tap into the wisdom and resources that we do have, but we weren't tapping into because it was kind of running us, and we're getting caught up in life, which is a normal thing. And so I appreciate the power of that and the change perspective. And I think what was really critical about what you shared with us and listeners, something that we can bring into our life, is asking questions in that moment. Like, what are my choices here? Do I want to keep feeling this way where I feel heavy and discouraged and resentful and frustrated and disheartened, or I want to feel this way? So what can I choose that helps me move that direction? I think that was really powerful in what you shared with us. So thank you, Empress Iris, for sharing that with us and your heart and that story to remind us when we're starting to feel resentful or heavy, or we're losing our power or losing our joy. That's a moment. That's an indicator. Oh, time to pause. How can I be different in this, or move in the direction I want to go and be how I want to be in this versus just reacting? Wonderful. And I know you've put together an amazing gift for us. We have just a couple minutes to break, and I'd love to share with them how to access it as they go into break. Do you mind sharing in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, what your amazing gift is?
Okay. My gift is a monthly call, a Share Your Joy connection call, because it's an invitation to, as we're talking, to pause, to smell the roses, to take a joy break so that you can tap into your joy, your inner joy. Also, when you're calling and sharing your joy with other people, that connection, that opening of the heart is so soothing and just gives us that feeling that we're not alone. Even if you're having something that might block you from your joy, sharing that, knowing that people are there to help you, to be supportive, to listen, to hold that space. Because those, especially who serve from the heart, have to practice developing the muscle of receiving as well as giving support.
Beautiful. Yes. Not only do we need to know some of what we need, but we have to be willing to receive. It's so easy to brush it off, or I'm okay, go take care of them, versus receive. So thank you for creating such a powerful
Rebecca,
gift.
I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about two brief things. There's also videos that help you talk about the different facets of joy, and there's also a Share Your Joy posting site, so you can have unlimited times you can share what's going on in your heart and have some people and some love really help you through it.
Beautiful. I love that. And it's support and a community, and keeping that top of mind of looking for joy, building that muscle and that practice of it. Really, really powerful. Oh, thank you for making that available.
You're welcome.
And as we go into our next commercial break, I wanted to let you know how to access her amazing gift. You go to Radio Gifts, that's plural because there's more than one gift there, radiogifts.net, N-E-T. And you'll see, we'll ask you for your name and email address so we can stay in touch. And then a world of gifts will open up. You'll see several from me, and then make sure to scroll down to today's date. You'll see Empress Iris's lovely picture and her amazing gift. And I encourage you to say yes. That's a step you can take right now today to build the practice of bringing joy into your life. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. Got a chance to listen for information about some of our amazing sponsors that help make this show possible, and that you did say yes to bringing more joy into your life, that you found a gift there, particularly Empress Iris's gift to really support you on your journey and build that practice, build that muscle of leaning into the many facets of joy. And I have asked Empress Iris, our local expert here on joy, if there was another tip that she could share with us, and she has said yes. And before we get into that, though, I wanted to take a moment and share about some exciting things that are coming up, because you are my people, my community, and I love to keep you in the loop about things that are going on with us here. And so here's just a couple of announcements of what's coming soon to support all of you on additional levels and layers and through additional mediums that we felt will continue to have the impact we have and touch and reach more people. So we are proud to be syndicated on 2 different channels here at Voice America. We're on the women's channel that we're on this moment. If you're listening to us on Wednesday, we're on the empowerment channel. We're actually absolutely excited and honored to be there. We're also syndicated on Speak Up and Listen network, as well as through a multimedia magazine, I Am Enough. And what we are now stepping into as well is a TV channel, web-based, and it is going to be supported by Voice America. So you heard it here first. It's going to be called Empowered Connections TV, and it's all about connections with one another internally, externally, and around the world. And we're bringing a bunch of shows. I'm really honored and excited by the people that are stepping forward to bring their programming to this channel, to really bring transformation around the world. And one of the requests many of you as listeners have given me is, Rebecca, you have that women's empowerment series there in California, and can you live stream it? Can you let us participate in it in some level? And I can now say yes. We are bringing that to you in a television format, so you will be able to experience the event, the speakers, and get all of the valuable information and experience that we have at those live events. So we're going to be bringing that to you in a television show, along with some other shows that we will be announcing as we get closer. So be watching for that. We're going to do a soft launch October 15th. So by word of mouth, you will hear about that and be able to lean in. Secondly, we're going to have the big official launch where we unveil the shows and launch them to the world on November 1st. So be listening for the updates that we give as we go along. We're really honored and excited to be stepping into that medium and hope that it will serve you at a powerful, high level. But with that, I want to make sure I delivered what I promised, which is we have another tip that we can start applying right now to bring joy into our life. So Empress Iris, would you share with us a way that we can start doing that right now?
I'd love to. And I thought of a lot of tips, but the one that I thought might be the most valuable is to create a morning wake-up ritual of joy. And so I can share mine, and I invite everyone to find one that works for them. So what you can do is start out thanking Spirit. So I say, thank you, Spirit, for creating me exactly how I am made. I am loving, I am loved, I am lovable. And the last part you have to say with a little bit of attitude, and it always makes me laugh. I am looking good and feeling good, and life is looking good and feeling good. Yahoo! And I end with that because Deepak Chopra says, laughter is the healthiest response to life.
Beautiful. I'm just enjoying that.
And I want to say to you, Rebecca, your laugh lifts me up whenever I hear it. Is your wonderful, distinctive, bubbly laugh. it just brings such smiles to my lips and also smiles to my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me, and I embrace that. And I just am reflecting as you share that, though, that I spent a lot of years like trying to get rid of my laugh. So thank you. Because I felt like it wasn't very financially. It wasn't very professional. And if I'm a professional speaker and talking about financial matters and helping businesses and coaches and bringing transformation. And now I'm also RHG Media Productions and launching channels and shows that somehow that's mutually exclusive to having a laugh like I have. And I actually hired someone to help me get rid of my laugh.
Oh.
And I look and I laugh now and I embrace it and I love my laugh too. And it's the same laugh my grandmother has. So that's been a gift that's been passed down to me. And whenever I hear my laugh, I think of her and it's really a beautiful connection. I fully embrace it. But there was a period that I didn't. I would try to lower my voice and kind of fit in because sometimes those things that are different about us, and my laugh isn't subtle. I mean, it does carry, it has different octaves in it and people respond to it, that it made me a little uncomfortable. So I was trying to kind of blend and be like others. And I remember the speech coach I hired, he said, Rebecca, why are you trying to get rid of your laugh? I said, because it's not very professional. He goes, but Rebecca, it's something people lean into. They remember. They respond. They smile when they hear it. It's contagious. That's an asset, not a liability. It's not interfering with your message. It's actually serving it. He goes, that's not the thing to try to change. And I'm so glad he held that space for me and taught me that truth. And now I'm not uncomfortable when I laugh and I enjoy it and it makes me laugh more. It's all good. And others have shared what you shared with me, Iris, that it's impacted them. And I just want to give us that perspective today because I think sometimes what we see as our differences or our quirks or things that are something people notice about us, we see it as a liability versus an asset. And I think that's some of the richness we bring to life and can bring ourselves joy and joy to others. So I think my tip is to lean into how you're made. I love your affirmation about how thank you for how I'm made and I'm lovable and I'm looking good and feeling good. Life is looking good and feeling good. And that it brings you that joy. Now, I really encourage all of you to think about what it is that brings you joy and how can you build that into your life. And perhaps the things we're thinking don't fit in a box are assets. Those are good things that are helping us change the world one laugh at a time, one hug at a time, one interaction at a time. Because you truly are beautifully and wonderfully made on purpose and with a purpose. There is no one out there just like you. You are the gift and your uniqueness. The way you interact, whether it's your laugh, it's your affirmations, it's your title, whatever it may be, that is unique and powerful about you is a gift, but it is a gift to be shared. That's where it starts to make an impact, heart by heart, life by life. So I encourage you to choose joy, to share joy, and to share the amazing gift of who you are. That wherever you go, whatever you do, may you always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.